Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, as we have a loaded show for you on here on this Tuesday, plenty of things to discuss, not only from Razorback basketball last night, but some we'll really dive into of John Calipari's epic rant that has gone viral towards the NCAA and college basketball and college athletics in general, which we'll get to. We'll have our heavy hitters, as well as a new announcement about a partnership that the University of Arkansas is dealing with some NIL. And, of course, get into all your chats and all that fun stuff. But, fellas, it's Tuesday. We're getting closer to the end of the year, but how are the vibes here on this Tuesday afternoon?
Pretty decent, man. I'm glad that that John Calipari is going viral for something he said within the last 24 hours, because for the past week it's been that thing from like the Little Rock Rotary Club in June or whatever that I kept seeing popping up all over the place, and people are writing stories about it. I'm like, this is 6 months old, man. I know he's got some new material, so he definitely does. After that rant last night, man, that was crazy. I'm looking forward to talking about it, and the vibes are good.
Yeah, my vibes are very good on this end. You know, last week, it looked like it was cold outside, but it was like 72 degrees. Like, it'd be all gray and weird. Now I'm looking out my window, and it's like, man, it looks like a beautiful day out there. But I know it's not. It's miserably cold. But, yeah, it's always good to enjoy the vibes after a win. And right now, I got to be honest with you. I'm excited to talk about all we got to talk about. I can't wait for Saturday. I'm already fired up for that game Saturday.
Yeah, it's almost kind of crazy because non-conference is over. Like, it's SEC play now. And I know as we get closer, we'll definitely continue to talk about that epic Tennessee game, which will be. But listen, Arkansas, they are where they are. They stand where they stand. And I think it may have been yesterday when we were talking about the game against James Madison. I think, Curtis, you brought up, I was like, man, I hope somebody asks Cal about this whole thing that's going on in college basketball. And, made the joke like, man, you're not going to have to ask him because he's going to find a way. But he did get asked. He did ask the question.
Asked him, by the way?
So I couldn't hear from the Zoom. It was hard to hear. I don't remember who did. But either way, he gets asked. And I knew as soon as, because when I was watching the Zoom, I know you guys were doing Pod at the Palace post-game show. When I was watching the Zoom, I'm just like, oh boy. I was like, man, I made sure the recording was going. I made sure the audio was good. Like, I was like, I cannot miss this because I know he's about to tee off. And tee off he did. It was a near 7-minute rant, which he had a 7-minute rant earlier this year, if you guys remember, about something completely different. But still, when he feels strong about something, he's going to let everybody know. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go through it. We'll see if we play the entire rant, but, it's kind of stop through it and give some responses to it. But man, this was something that was just legendary, and it has truly gone viral, so much so that it's national media's picked up on it and talking about it. But in case you missed it last night, John Calipari railing against the current state of college athletics.
Well, look, I don't blame coaches. I've got friends that are playing with 27-year-olds and they feel bad. I said, don't feel bad. We don't have any rules. Why should you feel bad? But let me give you this. Real simple. The rules bees the rules. So
before we go on, I thought it was rule like bees. I didn't know that was the word you used, but still, like, as soon as that happened, dude, that was outstanding. Bees the rules.
That was the tone setter for this entire thing. As soon as he went there, we played some of this last night. I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a good one.
Yep. So we'll continue.
So if you put your name in the draft, I don't care if you're from Russia and you stay in the draft, you can't play college basketball. Well, that's only for American kids. What? If your name is in that draft and you got drafted, you can't play because that's our rule. Yeah, but that's only for American kids. Okay, now here's the next lawsuit. Well, we don't have a say over European players. You do if they're playing in college basketball. So that means you don't have a say over high school kids. So whatever a high school kid does before he comes here, don't you do one thing, because there's a suit. Because what you're saying is, if he's in Europe, we don't have the same rules. What?
Okay, real quick. For Curtis, and you may know more about this because I'll be honest, I don't know all, but the rules as far as what he's referring to as far as overseas kids and, pros there, but that doesn't apply to them. Like, is that kind of what the setup is, and maybe is what some arguments are being made to be like, well, they're foreign kids, so the rules don't apply? Is that kind of what has been going on?
Sort of, and it's very convoluted, and every time you think that something is a rule, these schools now are kind of challenging it and going against the grain, and then there are lawsuits, and it's crazy. But in the past, you didn't see as many European players come over in the way that they are now, because they're playing in their own pro leagues over there, right? Like they're playing in the Adriatic League or Spain or where the heck ever, and they're on a contract and they're making money, and so that like eliminated their amateur status, right? So they were just not eligible to come play college basketball. There used to be kids who would get suspended for the first 5 games of a year if they went and played in the Portsmouth Invitational or something and got paid for it. It was crazy. Well, when NIL became a thing and players started getting paid, they tried to blur those lines a little bit. And so then they were able to start doing that. You have this influx of European kids who are coming over, who are breaking contracts. Some schools are paying buyouts to these European clubs to get these guys over here for a year. Brad Underwood in Illinois has an entire team full of European professionals. And so I imagine people like Scott Drew and others looking at it going, well, what's difference in that versus being over here in America? Somebody getting paid to play professionally over here. So they keep pushing it. And then it was, all right, well, this guy didn't play college, but he's been in the G League, so maybe we can do this. And now it's, well, he's drafted, but he never got into the league, so maybe we can do that. Well, Trenton Flowers didn't play college, but he has played in the NBA. Maybe they're stretching it out. You give them an inch, they take a mile, and that's what this has been. But yeah, there's this started with the European influx in college basketball, in my opinion.
Well, we keep talking about the line. Like, because everyone keeps talking about, hey, where are we moving the line? What's going on? Is it fuzzy? And I think Cal brings up a very good point, which is like, let's just draw it right here with the NBA draft. Because like you said, that kind of like all these rules about playing pro ball and whatever, all of them should go out the window when you enter the draft and stay in the draft. And I don't know why the NCAA is fumbling so hard at drawing that line and just putting out a statement and being like, hey, if a guy enters the draft and stays in the draft, let alone gets drafted, that should be the end of it. And I think the Najee situation is now what has opened up the floodgates to, like you said, coaches trying to find all these different loopholes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll continue on with Cal because, again, he's not even close to being done yet. So we'll continue to hear from him.
If he puts his name in the draft, he can't go to college. He left his name in. Well, that's different because he's European. Okay, you're not doing anything with a high school player then. We don't have any jurisdiction over a high school player, do we? We don't. So when they come, you just got to say, all right, now they're here. The other thing, the eligibility, again, real simple. You got 5 years to play 4. If you stay at the same school 4 years, we'll give you a 5th year. If your coach leaves or is fired, you can transfer without penalty. You can do it once, and if the coach is fired or leaves, you could end up doing it twice. But after that, you got to sit out. You can transfer, but you got to sit out.
So real quick, your guys' thoughts on that right there, because that was something when I went to that basketball summit, he used some more colorful language, but he said pretty much the same thing, and he's been consistent. Sounds pretty simple, but would you guys say, hey, that's a great rule, should be implemented, no questions asked, that should be the way it is?
I like the idea of the potential 5th season of eligibility, and that's something that they're trying to get through the courts now. You've got the 5-year clock, and then that's just your opportunity to play. So if you can get through 5 years of that and 5 seasons, then great. If you get hurt and you got to take a red shirt or whatever, that sucks, but that's kind of your clock and what you have. I think that's interesting. I think that's a way to balance it out in terms of how much you can maximize your NIL potential. You got 5 years, period, no matter what. And there are no exceptions, because some people do these crazy hardships and they're here for 7 or 8 years, and they can stretch it out a little bit. But to the other stuff that he's talking about there, I agree. I don't like the free for all thing. I didn't like the no matter what, unless you've got this crazy, convoluted story to get yourself a hardship, and maybe it'll work for some people and not Connor Vanover. You got to sit out for a year. You know what I mean? I like the first time freebie transfer. And I'm with Cal. After that, it either has to be that extenuating circumstance where, like, okay, your coach bolted or he got fired or whatever. Or my other exception to that would be the grad transfer thing. If you have graduated at that point, you can transfer a second time free of penalty and go wherever you want for your final season. But I like it. I'm okay with it.
I love it as well. And I think he makes a great point in terms of the graduation. If a kid transfers 3 times in 3 years, the odds of him graduating from any of those schools is very close to zero. And not that I'm not sitting here making the argument about education and all that, but I do think there's something too. There has to be some type of rules. And I don't like, hampering what the players can do. But what I don't get is back in the day, you transferred once, you had to sit out. We all agreed that was a little bit harsh.
Mhm.
Why did we skip right through this step of you transfer once? Okay, cool. You can maybe transfer second if your coach gets fired, but then at some point you do have to sit out a year. I don't know why we skipped past all of that and just went from you're sitting out immediately no matter what to all out free for all. You can transfer 5 times. I don't know how we jumped that far.
Well, not only that, but also it was the worst of both worlds, where you had that where you just skip to that, and then on top of NIL. Because even if, like, say if NIL wasn't the thing and it was the old way of doing things, but then they had the free transfer, yeah, it'd still be a mess. But because of the incentive now is based where it's like, you hop into the portal, you can play for me next year and I'm going to pay you a ton. Like
yes.
that was just the worst type of combination that could have happened at the same time.
Yes, and he's getting ready to talk about it here a little bit later in the clip, but everything he's doing, it seems like he's kind of setting it up for the standpoint of, getting everything under control and just having some kind of regulations, but getting rid of the tampering and guys getting poached off of rosters and everything like that. So he's saying what he's saying now, and then I want everybody to pay attention to what he's saying about collectives and how he feels like those things should be used. And then you're really starting to pick up where his mind is processing here with all this.
Yeah, we'll continue on here with Cal.
Does anybody care what this is doing for 17 and 18-year-old American kids? Do you know what this opportunity has done for them and their families? There aren't going to be any high school kids. Who other than dumb people like me are going to recruit high school kids? I get so much satisfaction out of coaching young kids and seeing them grow and make it and their family life changes that I'm going to keep doing it. But why would anybody else, if you can get NBA players, G League players, guys that are 28 years old, guys from Europe, do we really know their transcript? Do we have somebody over there? Do we really know their birth certificate? Or don't we? And then, there's no. Look, Tommy Izzo, Mark Few, there are a bunch of us that are just, we got no rules. Why did they let that kid play? Tell us all. Here's what the reason. Then we'll all go get pros. We'll go find them. Here's my second thing. You ready?
Real quick, before we get to a second thing, that was the one where I was also like, it felt like almost like a fan these coaches do, where they're like, hey, just tell us why, and then so we can do it. It's just, if you could explain to us the rule and why they were able to bypass this and why were they able to have this, fine, but you just let us know so we can also be a part of it. It's like you could tell that the not surprising, the lack of communication and transparency and everything with just the coaches, forget the fans, the coaches who are coaching the game, they're like, help us out here so we can further understand what's right and what's wrong.
Exactly. And it is in a way it's adapt or die, but then there also there's got to be a line drawn somewhere. And I think this is going to wind up being it. We'll see. But I've seen a couple of people in the chat who have already asked the question, and we can just kind of quickly address it now. We can talk about it more later if you guys want to, but some people are like, is there any reason to worry that this type of stuff might just completely burn Cal out, and then he's just says, the hell with this, I'm done sooner than we would want him to? And my answer to that is maybe. And he's been very open and honest about that. Like, if it becomes all transactional and not transformational, that's when I know I'm done. It's not about if I'm losing basketball games or whatever. And he just is so passionate about, coaching young people, and, he still recruits the freshmen and everything like that. You can tell how frustrated he is about all this, about the portal. It's one thing after another. Look at his face right now. He's worn out, man. So to a degree, I do worry about that a little bit. And so I hope that they do, he's always like, nobody ever listens to me. Well, I hope they do. to a degree, and they come up with some things that make sense here, because I'm not saying, man, at the end of this year, he's done. He's just had enough. But was he on a 5-year contract or anything like that? But the way this is going, do we really think he's going to coach 3 more full seasons after this? I don't know. So hopefully they figure some of this stuff out, because I'd like to keep him around.
For sure. And I mean, listen, it's a very valid concern to me, because he wouldn't be the first and he definitely won't be the last. I mean, when Nick Saban quit in the middle of his prime to stop coaching because he was sick of the direction it headed, that was a big deal. I mean, you've had other ones. I mean, Kay was probably getting up there anyway, but it's like Roy Williams wanted nothing to do with this whole thing. I imagine guys like Izzo, guys like Mark Few, guys like Calipari probably aren't going to be that far behind. So, yeah, I think it is actually a legit concern. Not saying he's going to leave right now, but I definitely don't think his motivation is going to increase as these rules get fuzzier.
Right. And we'll continue then hearing from Cal in a second thing in a second. But I want to remind everybody that OZK Insurance is our official insurance company here at Inside Arkansas, because nobody, especially Cal, he doesn't want to deal with the hassle of shopping around. And that's why we always use and recommend OZK Insurance. They're based right here in Arkansas, big Razorback fans, and they shop multiple carriers to find the best coverage and price for you. It doesn't matter if it's home, auto, business, you name it, they do it, and they save you both time and money. And the best thing about it is that you don't even have to take our word for it. If you go onto Google, you'll see that they have over 600 5-star reviews, not 4 stars. They got 5-star reviews. They have nothing but McDonald's All-American reviews, if one would say so, with over 600 of them. So that's why OZK has it going on. So OZK Insurance, you can get a free online quote today by going to ozkinsurance.com, or you can call them at 479-715-4200. That's 479-715-4200. It's OZK Insurance, protection made simple. All right, continuing to hear the second thing about what John Calipari wants everyone to know about.
No one listens to me. I told you. My wife, I talked to her. She's not even listening. She got ear things in, and I didn't know. I'm talking to her. You ready? Midseason. Unless you're in the school. This is an easy roll. We can do this, NCAA. Don't tell me about lawsuits.
I just want to say real quick, that is like my type of crash out, where I'm about to start a sentence and then I just completely just go off about something that makes me mad. So I love that from Cal. Hey, NCAA, shut up and listen to me.
If you join a program at midseason, you cannot play that season. If you're in school and have to get yourself eligible, that's okay. You can play the second term without playing the first. What? So now let me ask you this. What does that do for the kids in the program that you're bringing kids in at midseason when it was their opportunity? I mean, I just don't get any of this. And again, Tommy, Mark Few, myself, we got my son, their sons are in this. I just want to help it before I'm out for my kid. I'm very selfish, but it's for that. But this stuff here, I just gave you what we could do. I'm going to give you one other.
Real quick for the other thing, saw Kentucky fans are already saying that Brad Calipari, next head coach of Arkansas, confirmed. So they're already saying he's coaching waiting. But yeah, but that's the thing is, like, I give this to Cal. People can say if he's full of crap or not. The dude's consistent when it comes to like what he truly feels most passionate about. You know, when you talk about helping families, it's like he cares about the helping the young kids, seeing them to grow, and yeah, selfishly he wants to do it for his kids, for their kids, for everybody. You know, the nepotism that's going on in college athletics for these coaches, like. You want to set the future of it up for people that are under you and your staff and your GAs and everybody that's wanting to be a coach. So, like I said, he's been pretty consistent on that at least.
I also, real quick, I just want to say I agree with most of his sentiment. Your poll question, I feel like I'm getting ahead of us a little bit, but about like how much of Cal's rant do you agree with? Like, what was it? All of it, most of it, or none of it, or something
all
like
of
that?
it. Yeah, all of it. Some things or no.
Yeah. Vast majority I'm on board with for Cal. I said yesterday he's never going to do the midseason, bring somebody in and put him on for all the reasons I outlined yesterday, all the reasons he outlined in his rant just now. We know that's how he feels about this, but I do think there are some circumstances where that's okay. Like, it's one thing if you're just, going out and adding a guy and adding a guy, whatever. But like Eric Musselman, for example, he's got like multiple season ending injuries on you're hemorrhaged over there. And he had a full, roster worth of scholarship players and everything like that. if you got to find a way to get somebody in to help your team so you can finish a season, you should be able to do that. Like, so bringing somebody in mid-season to help you, I'm more lenient on that, I think, than Cal is. But he's done this before. He brought Oscar Shibwe in at the semester. He transferred out of West Virginia. He comes in, but what did Cal do? It was, and I think it was still part of the rule at that point, but he sat the spring semester, he practiced with the team, and he played the next year, and he's National Player of the Year, that kind of thing. But I understand what he's saying about if you have somebody who's not eligible, who's on your team and in your program, he gets eligible, then he can play the next, like the Keon Minifield thing, which that's the best example I could come up with. But like, he wasn't cleared when he got to campus, and then he made the grades somehow and was able to play the next semester. That's one thing too. But I do think his point probably is they've increased the scholarship limit from 13 to 15. So even if you have some injuries, you should have enough people on your roster to where you don't have to go out and get somebody and disrupt what you have going on. But Cal doesn't practice what he preaches because he gets, 8 guys or whatever who can play basketball and then leaves himself vulnerable, but he would play with 5 before he went and added somebody else.
Well, that was going to be my next question. I'm going to take a page out of the chat and I'm going to play devil's advocate, Curtis. Because I remember Must that one year left a scholarship open. And part of it was thinking, hey, maybe we could do something at mid-year. Maybe we can do something here. We can move some things around. If you're going to bring in someone,
we got Kamani that way.
Right. And Kamani, who, by the way, didn't play that first year, had to sit out and then came back the next year. Should that be part of it? Of like, hey, if you want to maybe add a guy mid-year, you have to leave a scholarship open.
Yeah, I think so. That makes sense. Yeah. Because and Arkansas did the weird thing with Minifield where they named him a non-scholarship walk-on or whatever, and then just gave him a bunch of NIL money, and there were like ways they could manipulate around it and stuff like that. That stuff,
which I'm sure teams will still do.
Yeah.
Because the only other player I can remember, at least from Arkansas, and I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, Joe Johnson had to sit out for the first semester at Arkansas because of academics, and then he became eligible midterm, and then the rest was history. So there's been precedent for it before, but as far as in the modern day, it's definitely become a lot different. So
the collectives on our campuses, whether you're doing it through your media people, whatever, cannot be involved in recruiting in any way or transfers. But if a kid's on your campus for a year, give them what you want to stay. So we'll get more kids staying. How about this? It'll be great for them academically. They'll probably make more money, but they'll be academic. We're not going to have kids leaving after transferring 4 times. What's the percentage of kids that make the NBA? Unless you play for me, what would be the percentage? Like it's like 1% or less? That means 99% of the college players that are getting money, it's fugazi. Fugazi. Because they're getting 400, 500, 800, $1 million, and they're not pros. So now they have to go get a job after 4 stops. No college degree. No loyalty from the state or the program or anybody. You were a mercenary. Okay. Now you got to go get a job. I don't care what a kid makes. It doesn't. But I do care what we're doing to young people. If all these kids could make $4 million, I don't care. But what we're doing by letting them have transfer at will. Transfer once. Coach leaves. You can go twice without penalty. But other than that, you got to sit out. Because now you get 3 years at one school, you're going to get a college degree. You can't be 30. You got 5 years. Clock is ticking. If you go pro, I don't care what country you're from. You leave your name in. You cannot play college basketball. If you transfer mid-season, can't play. You got to sit out. How about we just do that stuff? We can do it without having Congress and the Senate getting 60 votes. We can do that. Let them sue us on that stuff. I wish you wouldn't have asked me that question.
So that was again the entire rant, and which was incredible. But I will say real quick to his last point, that is something that I haven't. I'll be honest, I haven't thought it in the light or in the way of how it is, because we talk about, the academics, and some people scoff at that, but it's like, you think about some of these kids who go through just a 4-year span of making $500,000, $1 million, whatever it is, without a college degree, and then they're done because they're not good enough to go pro. It's like you go from a stretch where you're from 18 to 23 or whatever, you're making high, like you're probably in the top 1% of the world in money that you're making in a year, like you're high up there, and then just suddenly you got to go work a full-time job at the local chain restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, that is something where, again, nobody's going to really harp on that because I think people are just, a lot of fans are just about winning, but which I get. But it's like, man, that is something that's so true to where I couldn't imagine. We were all 18 to 23, but imagine making all that type of money and for a 5-year stretch, and then it's gone. And then, we have an expectation. Well, we have to continue to make that money because we have to continue to have this lifestyle we have. Like, that could really screw up a lot of people. And I think that that's a very important point that he brought up.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And he's been all over that. I remember even in the summer when we got to go to that practice and he had his press conference and he was soapboxing about all of those things for the same reason. So he's consistent with it. And I thought his thoughts, and I've heard him say this before on a podcast, I can't remember the dude's name, but where he was talking about using the collectives for retention. And that's very interesting coming from the one and done king. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also, he's very confident in his ability to recruit, and he doesn't need to, go crazy with the stupid $5 million bidding wars and stuff to get players. But if people actually care about, quote unquote, leveling Sam Pittman's playing field that he loved to talk about so much, you would have your rev share. And then whatever, like Arkansas just had this agreement with whatever that place is called for the, above the board NIL deals, like the legitimate ones that can go through the clearinghouse and stuff. That's what you build your roster with your recruiting and transfer portal or whatever. And then everybody's sort of operating in the same range. And then whatever you have for your collectives for bringing guys back, if that's what you want to do, that's interesting. It's very interesting. And I actually don't think it's something that would benefit Arkansas, because Cal is not the type of guy who's going to say, hey, I've got $3.5 million in this collective. I don't want you to go be a first-round draft pick this year. So he's actually speaking about the good of the game at the detriment of Arkansas here. And so that tells me that he's coming from a genuine place with this stuff.
Yeah, and now also we have to address the fact that we can't be, and Cal knows this too, he's not naive enough to think that if we just say, hey, you can give people unlimited stuff on collectives, but, recruiting, it's not going to be used in that. People are still going to find a way to funnel money certain ways. There are still going to be bidding wars the way that there have been for, I'd say, 50 years in college basketball, frankly. So there's going to obviously be some type of, gray area there where teams are still able to recruit with finances and stuff like that. But honestly, I think there's a balance that can be struck there. Like you mentioned, the revenue share, like maybe designate certain things like, hey, you can recruit with your revenue share and with your whatever, but it has to be a certain amount and it has to go through these things. And then once a guy's on your campus, yeah, it's unlimited, whatever. And yeah, for every, Darius Acuff, who's clearly not going to come back for a year of college, I think at Arkansas and a lot of these other programs, and more so other programs, like you said, there will be the DJ Wagners or the Carter Knoxes or whoever that come back and make life-changing money by staying in school. They are changing their lives and their families' lives. I think that's a cool setup, and everything in life is about give and take. Right now in the NCAA, as a player in college basketball, you are incentivized, one, to not go to college in the first place. We talked about that last week because it kind of limits your flexibility. You're also incentivized to enter the portal every single year you're in college. You're incentivized to cut all these corners in different ways. There has to be another side of it where you are incentivized for going to school, incentivized to stay in school, incentivized to not transfer. Everything has to be a balance. And as we've entered this new era, we have lost all sense of balance, and there haven't been things put in place to make sure we have that.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And we'll get to the Alumni Hall question today, just see what people think. And I don't think it's too surprising what the poll results were. But, I think that there's just so much chaos that people are trying to keep up with it. But like with Cal and, you mentioned the one and done king, because I saw there was, I would say the majority, it's weird. The Kentucky fans and Kentucky media even like quote tweeted the video I tweeted out there. Hey, Cal's on point. So it's like, man, if there's one way for everybody to get on board, it seems to be this. But it's like, Cal, one and done king. Sure. But I think Cal probably understands too. Hey, some of my best teams when Willie Cauley-Stein was here for 4 years, or the Harrison twins, guys that were 5-star players that may not been the pros, but it's like, yes, one and done is part of it, but or Trevin Brazil, and for how long he's been here at Arkansas, it's like, it's a very different thing to where I think he understands. Yeah, he's big on recruiting high school kids. Even said, besides me being an idiot and recruiting high school kids, he understands you got to have that. And it's really nice to have the 2, 3, 4-year players that's been inside your program at your school, and how difference that can make not only for your team, but for them as individuals as well.
It's it's better for those guys to be able to stick it out. I think it's a big part of his point. It's like, Cal always talks about helping families. And I saw somebody who was like, what does that even mean? Like, what constitutes helping a family? And yeah, I mean, for the Darius Acuffs of the world and a bunch of these guys, and he even said it, like, what's your percent of getting drafted unless you play for me? He's got a track record there. And so, yeah, all those guys who come in here with that pedigree and they are a one and done, and they go in the first round or in the lottery and they make however many billions of dollars that he keeps, updating the counter on. Yeah, of course, that's helping a family, man, no doubt about it. But it's not exclusive. It's not for everyone. And yeah, for the DJ Wagners of the world who, hey, you know what? It was pretty clear right away. He's probably not going to be that guy. Well, has it been better for DJ? I wonder. Maybe, and people could say, change of scenery. He could have, his game could have flourished elsewhere. How'd it work out for Boogie Flam? Like, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. But by him sticking it out here, with Cal, developing within the program, Cal changed jobs. I get that, but he's stuck with Cal for several years here, and he's going to be able to get his degree, and he's going to be in a good position to do things. I just do feel like that's better than a new school and a new coach and new everything every year, or just saying, damn, all right, I'm probably not going to be a lottery pick, so I got to enter the portal every year, get as much coin as I can in NIL, and then I'm just going to figure it out when I get out of here. And that's like Cal said, okay, all of a sudden then you're making however many thousands of dollars with a 40-hour-a-week job and everything, wondering, where's my car? Where's my apartment? What do you mean I have to show up to work? And it's a culture shock for these guys. So his heart's in the right place, man. I think he makes some really good points, and good on him for speaking out on it. He has probably been, and obviously his voice is heard, like when Cal speaks, people don't listen. They do. People are waiting for you to say something. But he has been the most outspoken about this so far, man. It's crazy.
Well, and I know folks are going to kind of some folks will roll their eyes at this because we're suggesting that Cal is really doing something for the better of the sport. But like you said, some of these things actually would hurt Cal's teams. And I think the concept of what are we doing to these players who graduate from college, or by the way, graduate is not an actual thing, because a lot of these guys, like we know, probably won't. That is a little bit something to think about. I mean, all three of us, we all went to college for a very specific reason. Curtis, you even played collegiate basketball. You go to college for a specific reason. You think, hey, I'm going to go to school for, 4 whatever years. I'm going to get a degree, and it's going to be worth it for me in the long run. This is going to open up doors for me. I'm going to build connections. I'm going to have some place I can call home. I'm going to meet people. I'm going to do all these different things. We have just accepted as a society that college athletics, that no longer applies to. Like, no college athletes view college through that lens. I was listening to an interview with TJ Finley the other day, who's, by the way, of course, going for his 7th year, his 5th or 6th different school, and he's just continuing to do this thing. And he's like, listen, I have a skill set. I can make money with this skill set. I can feed my family with this skill set. I don't know how long I'll be able to do this. Maybe they'll let me do it for 10 more years, but for as long as you're going to give me the opportunity to make money playing football, I'm going to do it. And he has that mercenary mentality, or that, hey, what can I get right now? And honestly, for TJ Finley, I think he's probably making the right decision for him and his family and what he needs to do. I just think the NCAA, that should really horrify them, that college kids, and he's 23, but at least some of these guys are 17, 18, and they are viewing college through this lens of, how can I make the most money right now and forget about everything else moving forward? I think, and I get it, I'm not naive enough to think we're just going to hold on to this amateurism and we're all going to feel this way and all these college kids are going to go to college for the love of the game and all that. I get it's never going to really be that. But like he said, less than 1% of these kids are actually going to make a career playing sports. Why should we accept that when they're 18, they've already resigned themselves to not chasing big goals of how can I really build a long life for myself and build a sustainable career? How can I just make some money when I'm 19? I think that's a crazy way for some of these kids to be thinking. And I think the NCAA, people listening to this should be horrified hearing some of this and being like, oh crap, we have these kids really viewing life through a mercenary mindset when they're like 17, 18. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and again, I know we'll get to the questions today because there's just a lot of things to talk about here. But to your point, Andrew, it's like just from my experience, it's like I know looking back when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, just from my experience, I'm like, I had no idea about future, nor did I care. Like I cared about going to class sometimes and like going to parties, hanging out with chicks, like just like that was the only thing that really mattered. And it was such a big deal. Like, oh man, I don't want to date this chick because she's in a certain sorority. Like that was the certain like crap that we were in our minds. And I'm like, I couldn't imagine me. And I'm again, my experience. I couldn't imagine me. It's like, hey, something you're gonna do. You could play a game, and you're 18, 19 years old. Here you go. Here's $500,000, $1 million, whatever. And then I just assume that's always going to be there. Because it's like, oh, no, it's always going to be there. My youthfulness is already going to be there. My, I'm going to be able to play forever. Like you just don't think of it because you're living in that moment. And that's how the vast majority of kids are. And that's what I think Cal's also talking about is like, you're setting them up for failure. You think you're helping them, but you're setting them up for so much failure that could happen. Is it every kid? No, but a lot of them are going to be set up that way. So we'll talk about the question of the day, but want to remind everybody Hickey and Hole Law is our official law firm here of Inside Arkansas. As we know that any case that you may need help with, which let's be honest, there's a lot of them because the legalities, the policies, the rules, they actually have rules and laws of this land, unlike with the NCAA, apparently, like Cal was talking about. And you're going to need help because there's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of nuance to it. There's so many specific things. We'll have Hickey and Hole Law take care of it for you because they've handled thousands of cases, especially when it comes to divorce and custody cases, family law cases, and they've experienced every scenario that has come up. They're going to walk you through the entire process. They're going to help you out each and every step of the way, and they're going to make sure that at the end of the day, you're going to leave from the situation well represented and make sure you're taken care of. So be sure to have Hickey and Hole Law help you out with any of the legal advice that you may need. You can give them a call today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. Or you can check out their website at hickeyandhole.com. It's Hickey and Hole Law. Things are about to get better. And as part of our Alumni Hall question of the day, presented by Alumni Hall, the ultimate Razorback shopping experience, which, by the way, they got new stock on a lot of things, folks, for the new year, especially for basketball season. They got a lot of great Nike basketball apparel. They got shoes. They got hats. They got everything you could possibly want. And of course, the high-end, high-quality stuff, not just some little cheap old shirts that you put in the wash once and they get exploded. No, you're talking about the high-end things like Southern Tide, Columbia. Don't forget about Johnny O pullovers. Everything you could possibly imagine right there at Alumni Hall. And you can shop them online, have it delivered straight to your door at insidearkansas.com/Alumni Hall. That's insidearkansas.com/Alumni Hall. You can also check them out in person and in store at 3417 North College Avenue. When you do, be sure to use Hogs by 20 for 20% off your purchase. It's as simple as that. It's Alumni Hall, the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. And guys, the question of the day was simply kind of what you talked about, Curtis. Like, hey, do you agree with everything that John Calipari said in his rant in the current state of college athletics? Yes, some things you do, or no, 95% say yes. 5% say some things. So you know what percentage that leaves for no? 0. 0% said, no, I don't agree with John Calipari, which to me, say what you want. And I know this is a very accurate poll that polled everybody in the world and everybody voted in on it. But I think that's extremely telling when it's like, hey, John Calipari, because I'm telling you right now, if John Calipari was still at Kentucky, I'd still hate the man. I'd hate him. I'd despise him. But even I think I would quote tweet him and be like, Cal's got a point here. Nice. It's just the way it is.
I'm a heck of a lot closer to agreeing with all of it than even some of it. Like a vast majority I'm on board with. And yeah, I'm with you. If he was still at Kentucky, I would feel the exact same way. I would love to like run this poll past the Baylor fan base. Because it wouldn't be as overwhelming, but I kind of have a feeling that there would still be a very, very solid percentage of people in that fan base who are taking advantage of this, loophole or whatever the heck we're even trying to call this. That would be like, yeah, we like having a 7-footer, but Cal's right though. I mean, I do think there is some awareness there. even like in Scott Drew's responses to everything that's gone on, like, why have you done this and all that? He even gets it. He's just doing I'll do whatever I can to, because he's, and I do not blame him. I do not blame the coaches or the programs that are doing this. Cause like I said yesterday, you have games to win and a job to keep. So I understand that you got to do what you got to do. You got to get creative. Fine. But yeah, it's interesting, man. I don't know that we've ever had a definitive 0. It's almost like getting a full 100% on something. It's crazy.
Well, and I think this is also an interesting thing. One, if the Baylor players on that team could vote on this poll, what would they say?
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting conversation to have. And by the way, we're about to watch, James Najee's about to make his collegiate debut at 21 years old. We're going to see what he does here. I think everyone in the country, unanimously, coaches, players, fans, everyone, frankly, we should all be unanimously hoping this blows up in Baylor's face and their team hates each other. He's not a culture fit. He's a great physical talent, but like everyone on the team hates him. Scott Drew loses control. I really genuinely in my heart feel like that's what we should be hoping happens. And I'll just ask you, Curtis, because you know more about this than I do. How many examples are there of people that enroll mid-season that like truly turn a team into a great team? I'm sure it's happened before. I'm sure there is an example, but I'm like, if this thing blows up in Baylor's face, it's going to be pretty easy for future coaches to be like, yeah, that was stupid. Why did I even pursue that? I feel like it would be the first example. Maybe I'm tripping. I can't really, in my head, think of someone who joined a team mid-season on a team he wasn't on, and then all of a sudden that team went on an Elite Eight, Final Four run.
Yeah, that's a very good question.
We'll have to look into that a little bit, but I genuinely can't think of an example. I'm sure someone in the chat has one, but like, because I've also seen a lot of people doing the thing where they're like, well, these other teams, they're forming a competitive advantage. And I'm like, are they? Because I haven't seen it happen yet. Like all the national champions we've watched over the years, none of them had a guy come over from, Somalia or whatever and start playing basketball for them, or come over from the G League, frankly.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And I don't know. I can't really think. And I want to give Rob Douster credit, by the way, and it's rare that we're doing this, but over at the Field of 681, he had an awesome interview with Darius Acuff over the holidays. Good on you for being able to get that. That's crazy. But that was cool. And I enjoyed listening to that. But I was listening to something he was saying about this whole situation, kind of to your point in a way, but there is also a reason why this guy was drafted 31st and has not sniffed the NBA. And I guess he was talking to some scouts over there in the league in Europe that the dude plays in. He was like, I'm not even sure that this dude can receive a pass like on a pick and roll. Like, so it's not like he's probably going to come in and average, 20 and 14 or something like that. He's just kind of long and athletic. So is the benefit, does it outweigh the backlash that you get from doing something like this? We're about to learn that in real time for sure. And it's interesting because he's coming in right away and doing this at semester. He's not the only one because BYU has the big man that they got back in October or whenever it was. And he's from the G League and he is cleared and enrolled and is going to start playing in the spring semester. So we'll be watching these guys really, really closely. And I remember it all started with Louisville taking a G League guard who's not going to play until next year. I wonder if this just goes bad for everyone, if they're like, hey, you know what, this was fun, but maybe we're just not going to do this. You can stay down there with the Capitans or whatever.
Well, that's a great point. And by the way, that's what we've been saying this whole time is that, like, listen, if you can find the perfect situation where there's a guy that hasn't played in the NBA and it's a specific thing, like a Dink Pate type of guy who I think would be good enough to come in and help a college team, we have always pushed back against the notion because I think Hog fans look at Nick Pringle and Malik Ewan and they say, these guys suck. Let's go get someone better. Show me the guy who is available. And by the way, this Najee guy does not fit that criteria, I would not argue, and we'll see what he looks like. I just don't think there's a mystery guy out there that's just up for the taking that is definitively better than Nick Pringle and Malik Ewan, specifically Malik Ewan.
Yeah, I mean, this is just such a weird time, and everyone's playing catch. It just makes me, as weird as it is, it makes me feel better that in the current state of college athletics, that even the coaches are like, what's going on? It makes me, because I'm always wondering, hey, man, I have no idea about rules and regulations, but as weird as it is, it makes me feel pretty good about it. But yeah, I'm I'm just going to, it goes back to your point of when you're talking about like Baylor fans and doing that. It's different scenarios, but it's the same feeling that I have with, like, we're thinking back with Muss. Like, remember Muss taking his shirt off after a Kansas game and the people that were so mad about that. And I remember the vast majority of people were like, no, take off your shirt. But then I was like, Dad, take off your shirt, man. You won. But then if Muss was not my coach and he was a coach of another school, I'd be like, yeah, that's stupid. That's lame. Or even maybe something more serious. But like, remember the Brandon Miller situation, that whole thing? Everyone in the world was like, this is wrong. And how is this guy playing? And Bama media and fans were like, no, I mean, come on, guys. It's like he didn't do anything. It's so, we're fans and you're fans and you kind of side with everything. But that's where it's like at some point when you see something that one thing I think everybody can agree on, regardless of this particular scenario, college athletics is broken. It's sick. It's diseased. And there is so much wrong with it. And it's unfortunate because we all we're still going to watch the Razorbacks. We love the Razorbacks, everything. But this is what we love college athletics. We always have. We grew up with it. It's great. And it's sad to see it just continuing to have issues where it's almost like the first time, I forgot what the lawsuit or whatever it was called with the NIL, like that first thing that happened in California, the NCAA just broke and folded like a cheap suit, be like, we're done. We're not doing anything anymore. It's like, okay, well, we still need help over here, guys. Like, there's still a bigger thing than this. And it's like they almost threw a fit because they had to do this. And then they're just like, we're just not going to do anything then. We're just going to sit over here and just let you guys handle it. And it's just, it's petty and stupid, and there's no leadership, and it sucks.
Did you see, God, we're talking about Field of 68 a lot, but did you see the thing from Jeff Goodman where he reached out to the NCAA asking about this? And I don't have it in front of me, but he basically got a response back from him where the NCAA is just like, well, yeah, like people are trying to take advantage of all these things we have going on here, but anytime we try to enforce anything, we just catch a lawsuit. So whatever. they just like wash their hands with it, like, screw it. So who knows, man?
I mean, we can't be surprised that the NCAA is like, not going to do the right thing, not going to do the firm thing. But I'm stunned that they haven't put out some type of statement, basically at least just calming down the fear of everyone and being like, hey guys, we'll at least draw the line at the NBA players.
Yeah.
Like LeBron's not going to play for Akron. Like, we'll just call that. Like, at least start there and draw the line at a spot where everyone agrees.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, because I know we'll get to a lot of stuff, folks, and a lot of your chats and everything. Guys, I probably should have done this before the show, but, screw it. We'll do it on the air. The things that are listed below, the little pictures down there in the graphics, are any of you guys using that for any of your heavy hitters? You both retweeted it, so I wanted to know if it was about the watching of college basketball. Any of those your heavy hitters?
Mine was, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So don't worry about it. We'll get to We'll get to that. I just want to make sure before if I brought it up or anything.
Well, yeah, I guess we would need to save them both. I didn't see the top 10 thing, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I was just maybe going to make a joke about that one. But either way, so but yeah, we'll get to more of your chats, folks, here in just a second. But I want to remind everybody that if you need to see here, like now, you need to get at the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas a call. You need to see them, because if you see them, they're going to help you see. They have all different types of help, whether it comes to surgeries, when it comes to eye exams, when it comes to Botox, filler, and IPL, anything. Aesthetics provider Olivia Rich is going to help out with that. They have it all. Their award-winning eye doctors are board certified, and they are professionally active. They are constantly being ahead of the curve and ahead of the game when it comes to all the technology that can help you see and get your vision taken care of. Every patient receives the best new vision care technology plus old-fashioned personal attention, which is most important. If you need cataract surgery, you can get that taken care of. You can get that done. If you need refractive surgery, when it comes to those struggling with your readers or your glasses or contacts or anything, they can take care of you. If you need just an eye exam, which I need to get one on, I'm probably going to hit up Eye Center in Northwest Arkansas once the new year hits, because I keep having dry eyes and I want to know why. They can probably tell me why, and they'll probably give me a quick solution to it and help me out, because that's just what they do. So don't struggle with your vision anymore. Don't struggle with your eyes anymore. Have the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas take care of you today. You can schedule an appointment today with them at 479-442-2020. That's 479-442-2020. You can also check out their website at theeyecenternwa.com for more info. It's the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas. All right, guys, real quick, and we can maybe discuss this a little bit more in depth tomorrow or whatever. But I saw you mentioned, Curtis, the new thing that Arkansas has partnered with when it comes to their NIL.
Yeah.
It's called they partnered with the Link U, all one word. And this is according to the official release. It's expanding name, image, and likeness opportunities for Razorback student athletes. The new agreement will power the NIL efforts of the Arkansas front office to generate legitimate above the cap revenue for Arkansas athletics. It's a platform that provides immediate opportunities for local businesses, brands, and donors to engage in Arkansas athletics, to partner with athletes in a variety of ways. And apparently it says it provides a portfolio of 30 plus national brands and businesses, including technology, finance, apparel, and consumer goods companies that will be available to work with Arkansas athletes. And for local brands and businesses, the Link U provides a platform that simplifies the process of working with student athletes to promote their businesses, where fans can enjoy different ways to support their favorite teams and athletes through the platform, from memberships to specific athlete merchandise, autographs, to personalized videos and opportunities to meet athletes. So what it sounds like to me, guys, is just a collective that's not necessarily a collective. It's a thing that gives a little bit more like interaction and everything that they're trying to go about with legitimate NIL.
Yeah, and you do have to have this. Like, that's part of the equation. First lane, revenue share. Second lane, legit, can get through the clearinghouse NIL. Third lane, all the fun stuff, right? And so this seems like a better solution, hopefully, than what they had been doing to that second lane there. I have a couple quick thoughts on this. One, I saw that because I hadn't really heard about this Link U thing, but I guess it's the fourth P4 school that they've signed agreements with. So Texas A&M, Houston, Georgia Tech also doing this. So interesting. Like, I see those schools and I'm like, okay, so that's cool. But it seems, well, I don't know. With the last group that we had, there was like 50 schools or whatever that wound up not working out. But you're always a little bit hesitant. If we still have Kentucky fans in here, they'll know what I'm talking about. But their media rights partner or whatever, that's what I hope that this is not. The contract language I'll be very interested to see, because the big hang up at Kentucky right now, I think it's called JMI, who is facilitating a lot of this for them. It's like they're making the student athletes sign away their NIL rights. And it's like, hey, we've got all these, businesses and everything that we can partner you with, but you ain't getting anybody from the outside. It's like, we control you from that standpoint. And that's been a big point of consternation with agents and negotiations and everything like that. So I hope this is just like an added vehicle to where, yeah, you come here, we'll hook you up, we'll get you set up with these businesses and everything like that. But if you come in and you're a Darius Acuff with your Reebok deal, or you're whoever that's got your own stuff already in place, or somebody's reached out to you to do that, that's not in their portfolio, that you don't get screwed over. And I have no idea what the language looks like, but it's just something to be aware of so we can learn from the mistakes of our friends.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I haven't looked too deep into the company and, done a bunch of digging or whatever, but I'm just looking at kind of the press release they put out, some of the tweets and the messaging. And it's funny because, like, a lot of this stuff, like, for instance, some of these bullet points, it says, this partnership brings immediate NIL opportunities for student athletes. Well, I think that's a good thing. Access to national brand partners. Well, I think that's a good thing. A streamlined platform for local businesses to work directly with the athletes. Well, that sounds good too. New meaningful ways for fans and donors to support Razorback programs. That all sounds great, And so it's like, on paper, I have no reason to be like, this sucks,
Mm-hmm.
But as we know, sometimes these, whether it's a collective, whether it's just another company doing it, you don't know until you get in there and they start doing it. And so we'll see, and I don't know if how long we'll have to wait to see actual results and how this affects things. It seems more so like something that will benefit Arkansas once the players are on campus. Then they'll be able to use this stuff to get some deals. Not as much hey, I'm in the portal and you're recruiting me. Let me talk to the Link U guy and let me see if he can hook me up. I think it's going to be one of these once they get to campus, which I think we've said for a while, like, you just have to have something. I mean, it was crazy that while Ryan Silverfield was being introduced and fans were at their peak excitement and were excited and wanted to help and were like, you know what? I love what he's saying. I want to give to the program. They had nowhere to go to give that money. And so if anything, if nothing else, it just gives fans an outlet to donate to the university. And I mean, other than just Razorback Foundation and other things like that, if it just gives fans a chance and gives small businesses in the state of Arkansas a chance, I'm all for it. But we won't really know until they start hitting the ground running and we start finding out what some of these companies and some of these players are able to do.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I'm rooting for it. You know, I get I have questions, and just like you talked about, Curtis, I have skepticisms. Like, I know, you know, because of the last thing that went on. I know it was a different animal and whatnot, but it's like, okay, in theory, it sounds good. Hopefully it works out, and hopefully there's some that makes sense. But I looked up like the membership program. They have 5 different tiers. The lowest tier being $10 a month, and the highest tier being $1,000 a month. And, you know, if you get $1,000, you get access to the membership program, a monthly newsletter, 20% discount in the NIL shop, an exclusive member gift box, and 4 personalized athlete shout outs per year. So it's like, okay, is that worth $1,000? And okay, if it is worth $1,000, like, you know, is somebody going to do that? And that may be something. Hey, we'll ask the chat, because you guys are a bunch of billionaires. If any of you sign up for this high, like $1,000 level, let us know. Because I'm telling you right now, guys, every single thing. It's not just Razorback fans. Like you talked about too, Curse. Everybody is so skeptical of anything that the second that anybody signs up for one of these deals or $1,000 deal or whatever, and they come out and be like, "Yeah, that ain't worth it. I don't like it." It's everyone's like, "Yep, not doing it." You know, you got to prove that this is something that can work. You got to prove it. You got to have some public awareness. You got to throw it out there. You got to have something. But like I said, it sounds good in theory. I hope it works. Hopefully it's better than what the disaster was of Arkansas Edge, and we'll see. But you know, it's just it's the timing of it. I know is interesting, and maybe is between the Razorback raffle is mainly used just for the athletic program. Remember, not NIL, folks. Program, rev share, all that. This seems to be something that's used straight for more of the actual NIL. That it's the clearinghouse, and what you said about the signing your away your rights or whatever as a student athlete. I've read all of the stuff. I didn't see anything of it, but it's certainly like would not be surprising if that was something that kind of goes along with it. Because this is a third party company. This isn't just like, University of Arkansas. No, this is a third party. They got to make their money too. And we know that they're going to try to make sure they have exclusive rights on it. So anyways, it's a fascinating thing, and I'll give it a shot. But yeah, we'll see.
There's got to be something in it for them for sure. Is it any coincidence that the morning after we hung out with Remy all night that they've come out with this?
That's true.
You're welcome.
I think that
Arkansas, you're welcome.
Yeah. He was basically like, "Hey, I'm sitting next to those guys that does that thing on YouTube. Let's make this happen." Like,
by the way, don't think he recognized us like even in the slightest, did he?
No.
Hey, did look like his family had a good time.
Yeah, he did a great hog call. I'll give him that. He did a great hog call. And I was laughing because I was talking to somebody who works at the U of A. I was like, yeah, I wanted to just introduce myself to him, but I don't know. I'm weird with if a guy that kind of wants to maybe be more incognito is with his family. It's like, I don't know. Just be like, hey man, I'm that guy that talks about you guys on YouTube sometimes, and I do some things, and you know, I like some things, but I also hate some things that you guys have done. So I don't know. It was just weird. But either way, I think there has to be some sort of connection there. It has to be a connection. So yeah, there was that. I was trying to think of anything else about that. No, I think we're good there. So, okay, we'll get to your heavy hitters, but we'll get to your chats too, folks. Appreciate everyone's patience with us here. Let's see. John Pigman the Fourth says, as a multimillionaire, I think I'll pass. Well,
fair enough.
You know, we appreciate the $2 you gave us, though.
If he's passing, you know it's a bad deal.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, if he's the one that's saying it. Super chats get read first. Paddlefish. Hey, Ellis, you going to stream the entire OK State game on February 13th?
You talking about baseball? No, I will be in Arlington for that. I am not going to be streaming it, but we will definitely have coverage. We will, I'll be boots on ground in Globe Life Field. Every single year I go to Globe Life, I'm like, I'm not going back next year. I don't really need to do this again. And then every year it rolls around, I'm like, I'm not about to just not watch the season opener. Come on, I gotta go.
Dude, Dallas does that to all of us for some reason.
It just sucks us back in every time.
Yes, like whether it's the A&M game, because I know you guys laughed about with like Trey Biddy did it, because I would do it too. I would be like, I'm sick of losing this game. But at least with the baseball thing, Arkansas is usually pretty successful down there, and it's it's indoors. It's a Globe Life, like it's really cool. But the only unfortunate thing about this is that it's the weekend of when Auburn comes to town and home in basketball. So like that sucks.
That is the thing.
If it was like a road game at Missouri or something, I think there'll still be a great crowd down there, but I think it would just be a lot easier.
Do y'all remember which basketball game I missed for Globe Life last year?
Was it Georgia?
I'll give you a hint. A player on Arkansas's team went 0 for 10 from the field.
Auburn. That's right. Auburn.
It was not Auburn, I don't believe.
Wasn't that the game that
maybe no, you know what? I lied. It was the next game after the 0 for 10. And I think Big Z went like 7 for 11 or something like that.
Bama?
I think it was Missouri.
Or Missouri. Okay.
It was the Missouri game where they came back and
Oh,
won.
yeah. No, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Did he
Because
go
they damn near
that
had
game,
to
or
win
did
that game.
Was it the game after the 0 for 10?
He went 0 for 10 against Auburn.
Okay, and then maybe it was the Missouri game that he had a good
Missouri
game.
was when a dude got hurt at the very end.
Yeah. Yeah, the Auburn game, of course I remember well because me and Curse were down there and we were so mad. I know I was mad. I'm sitting there just like, dude, Z, you make one freaking shot, man. We probably beat the number 1 team on the road. But anyways, it's not neither here nor there.
He had more technical fouls than made shots in that game. So
that's talent, man. That's talent. Let's see. Also, some other chats here too. Appreciate. Our guy Peyton from Blue Ember. I saw this Deuce Knight has now entered into the portal for Auburn. He's now in the portal. So.
And they lost another lineman this morning.
I believe.
What the hell's going on over there?
According to my friend Taylor Korn, that is 29 Auburn players that have announced they're entering into the transfer portal since the hiring of Alex Golish.
Wow.
29.
They better get that offensive lineman from Oklahoma State then.
Okay, that's you can't use that as my heavy hitter.
I'm not going to.
All right.
But we'll talk about him.
Okay, yeah. But that's a great story there too. Austin, we already talked about the Link U thing. But let's see. Woo MF Pig says Curtis. Okay, we already talked about that. Dang it. Never mind.
Okay.
What helps a family?
Well, no, I'm glad that popped up because I was trying to remember who said that. And there are many ways to help a family. They help families at Christmas. They did a lot of stuff. But no, I mean, we just always assume it's okay. If he wants to help 20, 25 more families, he wants to get 20 or 25 more guys in the league. And that's the ultimate goal for sure. But there are more ways to go about doing that for sure.
Well, that kind of leads to an interesting question because when he was hired and he was like, I still want to help 20 to 25, we assume that, man, okay, that's about 5 years because that'll take you 5 years to send these guys to the league. If he's helping families in other ways, that might be 2 years.
Man, that's true. That's true. I will say another thing too. This is the one thing I have not seen, which I know I will see it, but from that viral video from Cal last night, I did not see a single Kentucky fan go, classic Cal, get used to this. I think maybe we finally have gotten past all of that because, man, that was one of my favorite funny, but also most annoying bits, especially last year, where it's like Cal could sit there and just like light up a cigar and pour gasoline on himself and then just light himself on fire and everybody like, yeah, there it is. Get used to that guy. Like, okay. Like it's just so annoying, but I'm glad that again, Arkansas, Kentucky, everybody, I think everybody's agreeing. All the fans are agreeing on that. So shout out to Kingsley says life lesson. If you leave it in, you can't come back.
Cal's words.
That's true. I mean,
if you leave it in, you do not come back.
Yeah. Put that on a t-shirt, Kingsley. Put it on a t-shirt. Woo Pig MK says the problem is the rules need to be very clear and specific and enforced across the board. How many injuries do there need to be in order for that to be allowed?
I don't know. And that's just it. It's kind of like Cal said, tell us what we're doing, tell us why, and then we'll just do it. But when there's just so much gray area, it just becomes absolutely absurd. Mm-hmm. It really does. And I'm sure, and it's also like a generational thing. Yeah, who is he always lumping himself in with? Tom Izzo, Mark Few, Kelvin Sampson, guys who are in the backstretch of their career who grew up and came into the profession, have been coaching in this thing for decades, doing it a specific way. Nobody's going to be real comfortable with change, and you adapt. And Cal has done that to a degree with like the way that he put this roster together. And we've got more retention. I guess I have to take a transfer. I can't have 9 freshmen. It's like we see it from certain standpoints, but there are certain things that you're just going to be stuck in your ways with. Whereas Pat Kelsey or Todd Golden, like these younger coaches here who are just, they've got more of an analytical mind and everything. And it's always, how can I get this next competitive advantage? And they take advantage of these things more so. And there's a divide really between who's willing to do this and who's not. And I think part of that is why you didn't hear as much about this when Louisville did it. And you didn't hear as much about this when BYU did it. And I know this is a little bit different because the dude Najee got drafted or whatever. But I also think the Scott Drew angle of this is what has surprised a lot of folks and has pissed off a lot of these coaches out there, because he's not like an old guy or anything by that, but he's been around for a while and he's kind of part of that fraternity and he's very well respected and, in the coaching circles and everything. So for him to make that move, I think it threw a lot of people off. And that's why we've seen Izzo and Cal and some other guys react maybe even stronger than you would imagine.
Yeah. And also, I like this from Hickory Hog. Says, so you're telling me for $1,000 I can get Ryder Helfrich to say my name 4 times? Deal. Yep. That's all you need. It's just all he'll say is just your name, Hickory Hog 94.
Hey, by the way, why is every hog not on Cameo?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like if you're DJ Wagner, charge $100 for cameos, and I will probably buy one once a month just to get him to like say something funny to Curtis. You know?
Why aren't we on Cameo? Like, how come we're not on Cameo, guys?
Dude,
like, what are we doing?
I don't know how much. Loki, I would gladly crank out like 30 birthday. Dude, I saw. Did y'all see
30 birthday?
Did y'all see Ric Flair's the other day?
Yes. No. Oh yeah, about the marriage.
$1,000 to give them a happy wedding celebration, and he's like, I'm talking about piss drunk, like could not be more inebriated, and he's like, why would you ever get married? That's the worst decision. Keep her as your girlfriend. And like the guy like left a review, and he was just like, I can't believe I paid my idol $1,000, and he like said the guy's name wrong or whatever. He's like, I can't use this.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably would have. That probably would have been worth $1,000 just right there.
I mean, dude, if you're gonna ask for Ric Flair and you get Ric Flair, you can't be sad.
Yeah. That's what we'll do too. We'll just ask our audience if we get on Cameo, how much should each of us ask for our money, and see what people come up with. See how much they would pay to hear Curtis Wilkerson say Feliz Navidad or something. Just have that happen. What would the people pay?
My number would be pretty low, I feel like.
Oh, dude, I'd be like, hey, just give me some gas money, and I'd probably do it for you. So, shout out to JP Sullivan for Super Chat. Appreciate it, man. Says, I was at the December 29th game against Oakland last year, and I was there last night. At least double attendance year 2. I feel like Bud is slowly getting his magic back, fellas. I will say, we talked about it. I know you guys did too. That was a good crowd last night. I was really happy with it. It was a good crowd. Energized for no students being there.
That's a good omen for the weekend and everything.
Okay.
I was happy to see that.
19,000 on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least.
Oh, that's sucker. It's got to be packed out, man.
If it's not, then I will start promoting and advocating for a 100-year check to take out the upper deck. I will start doing that. I'll be like, well, you don't deserve this. And then I just start trying to take it away from everybody.
We just can't have the stripes look bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a stripe out. Ooh, we got to find out what color stripe we are.
I know.
I know. That's because we don't want to be those guys, walking in. And
I've never had to feel this pressure,
I know. Well, luckily, red and white, I think I have some of those colored shirts in my closet. So I think
don't know if I've got a good white with like Razorback stuff. I got a nice white hoodie, but
would you rather, is it more important to have the white, or is it more important to have something Razorback? I feel like it's more important for the white.
It is.
Yeah, so maybe you just wear a white shirt and just say,
yeah, because no one's going to be like, hey, wait a minute. How do we know you're a Razorback fan?
You think Malik Ewan would let me wear the white tee that he warms up in?
Yes.
Just straight up Hanes tee.
Yeah, just throw it.
I don't have to worry about it being too, like, it's not like he tucks it in. So,
man,
I'm currently wearing a gray Razorback, but I don't think that works.
Yeah.
Let's do a gray out one day.
Ew, it'd be better.
Shades of gray.
Yeah. Oh, come on now. That'd be a great marketing tool for it, at least. So,
I remember the whiteout for. It wasn't the Duke game. It was Auburn was a whiteout, wasn't it, that year?
When they were number 1, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I had a white polo, just like a standard. It was my 24/7 sports polo, actually. And so I wore that and I had my jacket on and stuff. And there must have been a dozen media members or people that were just like, oh, well, come on. What are we doing here? I'm like, dude, have a life here. All right.
I know. Hey,
relax,
you know what? I was probably one of those people, Curtis, because guess what I was wearing that day? I was wearing green because I was in the media and I was professional, and I didn't want to show any bias towards anything, because real stupid thing that no one cares about with that. Alyssa Lang, shout out to her. She told me the greatest thing of like how she's like, how do you make sure that you don't show any bias? She's like, I wear green. No team in the SEC has green. I was like, that's a great point. Very nice. So if you ever want to come off unbiased, that's the way to do it. And Before we get to our heavy hitters, I want to read this from John Pigman, Super Chat. He says $67 for John. Ha, shut up. Well, okay, I'll take it. 67. Okay, but yeah, if anybody pays me $67 to say anything to them, I'm not taking it. I'm like, you put this towards something important, like to your family.
Hey, you know what's crazy about that? Hang on, let me find this chat real quick. I just got to scroll for a second. Oh yeah, here it is from Finch. He says Curtis is low-key a big kid with his 6-7 bits. We told you guys yesterday, we went to Branson and did the Polar Express thing, for the kids, and we were on the train, and the person was in character, I was like dressed in the full garb and everything, and he did a 6-7, and I laughed and shook my head and everything. I was the only person on our train car that knew what happened. And there was like 8 kids under the age of 10 or something on there. And I was the only one that knew. And I was like, oh, I'm the problem. It's me.
Oh, man. Yeah. No, that was like, well, last night was the only time I was hoping Malik Thomas would miss a free throw. Because all the kids, because it's not calling out, but some the people that were next to us are the family at Remy Cofield. He had his kids there, and he was for some friends with them, and they were all as a group coming. It's like, oh, he's got to hit it, he's got to hit it, he's got to hit it. And as soon as he did, everyone did it. And I was like, I want to die. Anyways, let's go ahead and get to your heavy hitters. We'll get to your chats, folks. But heavy hitters are, of course, presented by our friends over at HD Roofing and Construction. Storms can hit whenever you least expect it, just like the weather here in Arkansas. Last week, we were all wearing shorts and laying out and getting a suntan. And today, we're trying to stay indoors as much as possible and gather around the fire, because that's how crazy the weather always is in Arkansas. You never know what to expect. And that includes storms, but you got to make sure your roof is good to go. You got to make sure that it can take on all of those crazy storms that could come in at any point in time, whether it's the wind, it could be just the rain, it could be tornadoes, it could be ice, snow, anything. Your roof is important and valuable to all of that. So make sure that you have the top quality roof with HD Roofing and Construction, and they will come out and give you that peace of mind with a free inspection and tell you, hey, this ain't it. Hey, you need to get this replaced. This needs to be fixed. Or they'll say your roof is golden because you had HD Roofing and Construction take care of it, so you need nothing to do with that. So either way, if you're in Northwest Arkansas, you can give them a call today for that inspection at 479-957-1928. That's 479-957-1928. You can also call them in Central Arkansas at 501-428-0429. That's 501-428-0429. Their website at hdarkansas.com. You can go that way as well. It's HD Roofing Construction, your official sponsor of our heavy hitters here on Inside Arkansas. So, fellas, I'm Curtis. I'll leave you for your heavy hitter because I think that's fun. But this one, I wanted to give a shout out and dealing with, transfer portal visits, all that crazy stuff. It's wild. But hey, I saw this yesterday from Hayes Fawcett. Oklahoma State transfer, an offensive tackle, Grant Seagren, is set to visit 4 schools. And look, Arkansas is the TBA, right? It's TBA. But he's visiting Auburn January 2nd to the 3rd, and Oklahoma State the 3rd, 4th, Northwestern 5th, 6th. It's number 2 offensive tackle in the transfer portal ring. You say that'd be cool. That'd be really great. But here's the thing. Seagren will return to Oklahoma State to visit with potential transfers as he evaluates the fit moving forward. You know why? Because he went to Oklahoma State last year. He's a student at the University of Oklahoma State, and he's taking a visit to the school with the coaching staff that he's already at. And I couldn't help but laugh at that, because I'm sure there's some reasons behind it, but shout out to him and shout out to everybody reporting, hey, he's going to be taking an official visit. Oh, where's he taking the official visit? The school he's already at. Oh, okay. So maybe he gets some good talks there. But anyways, it just really made me happy and made me laugh. I'm like, that's just one of the little tease things. I hope he's a hog, but that's one of those things, sir. I just couldn't take myself seriously. If imagine if, just pick a name, I guess, if somebody entered the portal, like the guy today, Logan or whatever, just like, yeah, I'm taking an official visit to Arkansas. Okay. Well, you already visited. You're here.
Well, I can clear up the mystery for you. It's a new coaching staff. So he's not on campus right now because he went home for the holidays. He's going on some visits. He's going to go back to Oklahoma State, meet with the new coaching staff, meet with some of the other transfers who are coming in, figure out where he fits in. That would be why he's visiting Oklahoma State.
I hope they do the whole song and dance with him though.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Obviously, they're not gonna be like, hey, let's take you to Eskimo Joe's. You've never been here before. I think it's more about meeting with the staff, meeting with some of the new players.
Well, yeah, no, I get that. I'm saying of just like the fact, I feel like it would have been, and maybe I don't know how it works, but it's like I feel like it just could have been easy. Just do it. before you entered into the portal or whatever, or before you did that route, or to do it at an early point in time. Maybe because he's officially entered the portal, you do that. I guess the point is like, it's just funny in the fact that, hey, he's going to visit the place he's already been, and for an official visit, and hearing as an official visit, I've always thought about it as, hey, they're just going in to see the campus, see the facility, see all that. It's like, but yes, to your point, you're right. It just is funny to me that's something that's happening. So
some people do the thing where they're like, he's still considering a return to whatever. And then it's just kind of left at that. But yeah, put it on the visit calendar. It's like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not? I guess that's funny. Like if I think back to when Cal took the job, and you remember when him and Trevin met at Doe's? You guys remember that? They had they had the sit down meeting, and I just would not take Calipari if he's going to have one of those backroom meetings, with a guy or whatever, to do it at Doe's. He's more of a Theo's guy. We know he likes to take him to Ruth's Chris, but anyway, that's where they went and did the thing. And then Trevin winds up coming back or whatever. But we would have had fun with that if it was like, oh yeah, Trevin Brazil will take an official visit to, Arkansas transfer. Trevin Brazil will officially visit Arkansas, and new coach John Calipari would have been like, really?
Yeah. Like,
weird way to put it out there.
Trevin Brazil says yes when it's Doe's. Paul Skeen says no when it's Doe's, apparently. Sad.
Yeah, for sure. And then so now if you qualified it as an official visit, you have to follow the rules. Like you can only be there for 36 hours or whatever the heck it is. And I don't know, crazy stuff.
Also, are we to assume that Arkansas is number 4 on the list as we start this situation, as they don't even, he might not even go to Arkansas? Because if obviously all 3 of those schools are going to try and get him to commit on the spot.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume so, but it's also like, dude, Stillwater, and we made the trip. It's very quick. I figured that would be right after the Oklahoma State thing or before. So I don't know. I don't know how all that works, but who knows? He'd be a great Razorback because they need offensive linemen, especially a tackle position.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Let's see here. My heavy hitter. Let me make sure I pull up the right one here. It's the Razorbacks. Must see TV. Arkansas basketball and John Calipari. We knew that. People tried to deny it, but it's obviously the case here. This is cool. From I saw it yesterday from On3NIL. They said the most watched men's basketball programs through December 22nd per the Nielsen ratings. Michigan State #1, which I think you got to give Arkansas some credit for that because they played each other naturally. I know they played Duke. They played Kentucky. They've been in some of those. I think they played in the Garden some. So they've had a good schedule that lends itself to being watched there. It would have been cool if Arkansas was #1 on that list, but I guess actually Michigan State has played 2, 3, and 4 because they beat up on North Carolina. So there you go. That actually explains a lot. And they played Kentucky. That explains a lot. But Arkansas to be there at #2, I think is pretty cool. Cal loves those spotlight games, man. And by not going and doing the players era thing where you're playing in 3 different, games in 3 days or whatever, it's spread out, it's strategic. He's doing it on Thanksgiving. He's got the Saturdays. They're in the big venues. We're on CBS. It's made for TV. And so that's been really good for the brand exposure for Arkansas. I think that's awesome. And it's only going to continue to improve throughout the course of SEC play with some of these games they have. Like Arkansas, Tennessee is going to be heavily watched. Arkansas, Kentucky is going to be a big one. When they go to Bama, that's going to be a big one. Like the better you are, the more people watch you. But it's also been kind of an aesthetically pleasing brand of basketball. Like they're scoring points for a change. They're fun to watch. So that's cool, man. I'm excited about that. Happy for the Hog representing the SEC on this list.
You know who else watches a lot of Arkansas basketball? NBA scouts, NBA teams.
They do watch a
lot
of
of which come in person and see the Hogs.
Yeah. Well, real quick before we move on, the reason I had this other graphic pulled up is because I don't know about y'all. I just found it funny that they only did the top 4 because somebody else did the top 10 and number 5 there was Kentucky. Yeah. And I was like, and because, we were a top 3, top 5, top 10. I just wanted to make the assumption, even though it's probably wrong, that they left Kentucky off for a reason because nobody cares. They only care about the top 4 teams, and Arkansas is one of them. But I just thought it was funny because it's like, hey, here's the top 4. Oh, okay. Well, why not 5? Well, just don't worry about it. So, anyways, that's the top 10 though list. If you wanted to know who's the rest of the college football or college basketball teams,
clear drop off after 4.
Dude, obviously. How is Texas Tech? Because they've played in some big games. How are they just not on the list?
That is kind of wild.
But
And who's watching Purdue? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like
Not me.
Yeah, certainly not me. I
Like,
guess
and
just they've been number one and they've played some Big Ten games so far. So I don't know. Maybe
I know. That's what I was saying. I was like, I know, yeah, maybe the big games, because I'm like sitting there. There's like, not say that all these other, like, there's just inordinate amount of other programs that should be better, but I'm like, I feel like there's a lot more that I'd rather watch than Purdue, but that's just me. So, anyways, there's your top 10 list for those who care.
Yeah. Well, for my heavy hitter, I want you guys to play a game with me. I'm going to give y'all things and y'all rate them in a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how interested you would be in getting these gifts. So this is, quarterbacks in the NFL. It's kind of a tradition. You have to get your O-line something. You have to, some people get them cars, some people get them watches, some people get them whatever, but it's always like a thing. You have to get your O-lineman something. So I'm going to give you 7. And I want you guys to rank 1 to 10 your likelihood of like how intrigued you would be if you were the left guard for one of these guys. So Caleb Williams will start off. He got his O-lineman a Bottega bag and Don Julio.
1.
I don't know what a Bottega bag is, but Don Julio's cool. 4.
You'll go 4 on that one.
3. Final answer.
Okay. Jacoby Brissett, who is 0-8 as a starter this year for the Cardinals and was named the starter mid-season. He got his guys a brand that I don't recognize, a suitcase, Versace robe, and cologne.
2.
5, man. Give me that Versace.
These get slightly cooler here in a second. Don't worry. So Josh Allen went with a very unique one. He got all of his offensive linemen 1/4 of a cow beef, just a huge bag of beef, 1/4 of a cow, which is enough meat to like feed you for several months. Does that interest you guys? Would you like that one? Is that your favorite so far?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's an 8. That's an 8 for me.
That's a 9. I'm giving it a 9.
Yeah, that's big time, man.
I like that. Plus, especially they're in Buffalo, it just fits. Mahomes, who is injured, got his guys a gift bag that included watches, headphones, sunglasses, suitcases, and e-bikes. Whatever the hell an e-bike is.
6.
7.
Oh,
No,
Jared
seriously though, I like that. The sunglasses, I like that. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, listen, honestly, I like the bag full of different things. I want a goodie bag. I want like a thing like that. Jared Goff and Aaron Rodgers went with a similar one. Jared Goff got his offensive lineman custom golf carts that have their number and name on them. And Aaron Rodgers got his guys Can-Am off-roaders, which I didn't know what that was at first, but I have a picture of it if I can ever pull it up. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, I give that a 10 because that's a useful product that I would love. Having a golf cart or that. I mean, I'd
like
be all
that.
about it.
I mean, the custom golf cart, I think that like either one of those, like that would very much interest me. But I think my personal favorite, Joe Burrow, gave his offensive lineman authentic dinosaur, bear, and mammoth fossils.
Yes.
I just think this is funny. I just think it's funny. And like, I don't shame any of these people because everyone makes different amounts of money or whatever. And it's a lot of guys you got to get stuff for. I kind of like the fossils though, low key. Last year, I think he got him swords.
See, that would be like, that's not useful, but it's something that, like who has swords anymore, like who just walks around with swords? What do you do with swords? You just show swords, it's just, but I'd be for that. I'd be for that. Like, yeah.
Let me ask you, I was gonna say, what would y'all get if you were a quarterback and you made $40 million a year or whatever, what would you be getting your offensive lineman? Because there's like 8 of them.
I mean, it would depend because I'd have to know who they are and like what they would, if kind of go with the majority.
But go personalized touch.
Maybe not
or
just
the same thing for everybody.
Well, see, that's the thing is like if it was a personalized touch, I could do for everybody if it was just based more on like, okay, well, the majority of them would really like this, and some of them would. You know what I'm saying? Like I would be, because I'd like to at least give them something to where. Is like, I've always said that anytime someone opens a gift and they say the name of the gift when they open it up, that means they don't like it. It's just like, oh, a belt. It's like, that means, okay, they don't like it. So it's like, I want to make sure that they would get a gift that would be useful, but the majority of them would like. But I don't know. I feel like something to where, like, I don't know what offensive line might get food wise, like giving them the cow stuff. That's what I think I would get him is like every offensive lineman. They got to keep those calories up. Give him some food. Give him some like all you can eat buffets, something like that. I'd be for that.
I would almost do like the off-season trip,
Mm-hmm.
like something we could do, like something we could kind of do together and just fund that. Now, like if we took a trip to Vegas, like y'all are on your own in the casino, you know what I mean? But we could get the resort and everything. We could make that happen. Something like that. Bring the bonding together. I like the idea. Now that I've heard all of these, the cow is that's my favorite.
When I saw it, I was like, dude, I don't think I've ever seen that because a lot of these are, the same, like watches. Oh, everyone got a Rolex or everyone got a, I've seen the golf cart thing before. I don't think I've ever seen just full on bag full of more meat that you could eat in. Like if there was a Great Depression, like that would tide you over. I like that. I think I might get them like grills, like big, cool grills that they could that are easy to work and whatever the newest, coolest grill is. I'd maybe get them something like that. But I always love this. I wish I were an NFL offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
And I would be shaming the quarterback, whoever it is. I'd be counting his pockets and be like, "Huh, you're making $50 million this year, and you got me a $3,000 watch." Okay, interesting.
Especially when lists like this come out and you hear about what other quarterbacks are doing for their offensive line, and then you start comparing. Be like, "Hey, man, this guy got this, so what gives there?" No, that's pretty good. I did want to throw this out real quick before we get back to the chat. But this was something that Cal put out yesterday, but had a bucket from Amari, and this was just made me laugh because of the reaction, and I just like to play this. That's what fun is all about, guys. You got to play with that fun.
Trevin. Aiden Kelly is like, we didn't even know if he was going to be on the roster. Yeah, because we were like waiting, is Arkansas going to fill the last spot or whatever? And then we're hearing that like maybe he's going to stick around, but kind of be like a student manager even. And then he wound up getting that last spot and being there and everything. So that's really cool, man. Pumped up for him. I love those celebrations. It reminds me, which the best bench celebrator in a long time was Jordan Walsh. He was awesome, man. He had some funny moments over there on the bench, but seeing the guys go crazy for him, man, that was pretty cool.
And by the way, I like Cal's tweet about this should be this should be our mentality all the time. We should be this excited. Obviously, you're not going to celebrate every three that way, but I think that moments like that are good for it's like you kind of remember, hey, we're all here cheering for each other, and it's also good for those guys at the end of the bench to feel a part of it a little bit.
Yeah. So I felt, was it Jonathan Holmes, Johnny Buckets? I think that bench reaction against was like Dusty Hannes and Daryl Macon and all of them. I think they almost got like a technical because they were going so crazy over there. But
dude, Johnny scored enough to where it kind of got desensitized after a while. Yeah. Like you'd get in and hit a three and it'd just be like, all right, he just hit a three. Like that's his 7th career 3.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
And that's the best way it could possibly happen. Like they went nuts when Amir hit the free throw a couple games ago, and it's like, that's a free throw. When Elmer hit his first one, and he's gone 1 of 2 like 15 times this year. Even when Jaden, and they celebrated big when Jaden hit his 3, but it was like a catch and shoot rhythm 3. Okay, cool, you knocked that down, we like it. But for him to do that off the bounce and hit the kid with the step back, and that's pretty good work right there.
I mean, Mark Titus made a whole career off of this. You know what I mean? Like being the walk on the end of the bench that would hit a shot every now and then. He's like still doing media stuff to this day.
Yeah.
Wrote a book about it and everything.
Yeah. There was again, I like the celebrations and all of that. But like last night was just kind of funny because I was fully expecting the official crew to give them like a technical because they were, with Cal in the coach's box, they were started doing that. And then the jersey tucks. It's just like, I don't know what in the world was going on, man. But those officials were run a clean cut game. Making sure all the rules were applied and ran by. So
clearly,
yeah, that was annoying. All right, so a few more chats, folks, before we roll out of here today. Let's see. Trey just says some good football Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday going to be crazy with the portal, and then Saturday's the Hogs play. This is true. True.
Okay, so who plays tomorrow? Is there one tomorrow, and then the rest of them are New Year's Day? Is that how it works?
I believe so. It's let's see, because we got the Fighting Burt Bielemas versus Tennessee today. So
tomorrow's Miami and Ohio State.
Ooh, okay.
Which, by the way, I almost made Michael Irvin my heavy hitter. I love
Yeah.
Michael Irvin. I mean, whoever is dealing to Michael Irvin is providing some very quality stuff because he is hopped up at all times. He's always on the sideline barking like a dog and stuff. He's been talking his crap going into this Ohio State game. He's ready for the U, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
No, I'm excited about that. Yeah, because it's that game tomorrow. We also got Iowa and Vanderbilt, a top 25 matchup in the ReliaQuest Bowl. And the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl is Texas and Michigan. I wonder if Michigan's like coaching situation with Sharon Moore is going to get brought up in that broadcast or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I believe Texas is only a 7-point favorite.
That is kind of wild.
Because is Arch playing? Right?
I wouldn't even
guess
know.
so.
Because he hasn't like declared to the draft or anything. I don't think.
He announced he's coming back. I thought.
Oh, well then, yeah, he's got to be playing. Like, I'm sure they have some guys sitting out, but it's like if you're Michigan, you don't have a head coach, you don't have an OC. There's no way they're within 10 points in this game, right?
I wouldn't think so. But then bowl games are stupid, man. I have no idea. Like, which by the way, real quick,
in a good way.
Did you guys see Brett Bielema kind of take a shot at Arkansas a little bit in his press conference?
I didn't. I saw people mad at Brett Bielema, but I didn't know. I thought it was just for.
I meant to pull the clip. I meant to pull the clip. He just basically was like, "Yeah, well, I went down, went to 3 bowl games, won 3 bowl games at Arkansas, but apparently that wasn't good enough for him, so I got fired." I was like, "I don't think that's why you got fired because you went and won 3 bowl games, you idiot." But he likes to talk that trash. Anyways, what was you gonna say, Curtis?
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't like the way Cheez-It Citrus Bowl sounds.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Didn't they used to be 2 separate bowls? There was a Cheez-It bowl and a citrus bowl?
I'm almost positive, yeah.
Yeah. That sounds right. It sounds right. Again, we talked about the bowl game names, but some of them are just getting that. Like Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Like, why not just call it, I don't know, Frosted Flakes? Isn't that what it is? Is it,
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Tony the Tiger's expanding his portfolio, John.
I guess so. He's not just Frosted Flakes anymore. He's got to get out there. But I will say shout out to the Sugar Bowl because I feel like it's been the All-State Sugar Bowl for a billion years. I feel like that's like been there forever. It used to be the Nokia,
yeah.
yeah. Like
the Nets have been in good hands for 20 years, 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was trying to think of like there's the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. I don't even know what that means. And then of course the Duke's Mayos Bowl. Can't forget that one. Anyways, yes, good football though. Hopefully. Going on there, and a lot of betting on Bet Saracen. If you guys need to put some bets and some props in there too. So, okay, here's Ryan, or a guy, because he got bad at timeout. He says, "I don't like pros in college game, but the precedent is set. Pros are playing college sports. If G League pros, Euro pros, etc., can play college basketball, then how can you argue that NBA pros shouldn't be?"
It's not my question.
So I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we've been doing this for like 10 days now. I'll just remind you that the whole John Calipari bit that we played, which was 7 minutes, and we talked about it for 30 minutes on the show, that was discussing the James Najee thing and the transfer portal thing and things that like we can have a conversation about. NBA players playing college basketball is not something we can have a conversation about. And I want to disagree. Well, I mean, I don't even have to make the argument. He says the precedent has been set. It has not been set. There have been 0.0.0.0%, like 0 people ever in the history of humanity who have played in the NBA and then played college basketball after that. If one day it happens, that would be a groundbreaking development and a huge thing. And I understand that Joe Tipton lied and said that it was going to happen. That is not good enough evidence to be like, oh, see, the precedent's been set. No, it hasn't. Like, it has not been set. This James Najee situation is not the precedent being set. James Najee did not play in the NBA. He did not under NBA contract. Now, if you want to argue, I think NBA players should be able to play in college. You can argue it. You're not going to argue it with us because we don't care because that's a stupid conversation. But you can have that argument. But to say the precedent has been set is just blatantly not true. It has not been set. And it never will be set. I will die on that hill, actually. There will not be a player that is playing in the NBA like LeBron James who is going to come back and play college basketball. The fact that we even have to say that, and I think I think you just kind of like to, stir the pot a little bit. It's like it's just the precedent has not been set.
Yeah. Let's see. A few more here.
If we can't distinguish the NBA versus every other professional basketball league on the planet, then what are we doing?
And like
pros or not pros, you have been arguing with a wall for 72 hours. these things are very, very different entities.
Yeah. Let's see. Also, Cats by 21 says Arkansas leads the country in most shirts not tucked in. That's true. They lead the country and the shirts not tucked in. The amount of time stepped down the baseline, fouling 3-point shooters, and I would say also probably 3-point percentage of an opposing team that shouldn't shoot as many threes as they don't, which I know they don't lead it, but just seems like it feels like they do. It feels like they do. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Hickory Hogs one says, think we get Ian Jaffard on a visit. Maybe show him the weight room.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah, maybe so. You can do an official visit here. William F. Peg says, Andrew, who's hitting the most home runs this year?
Well, considering Ryder hit like 7 in fall practice, I would say he's probably, if Bet Saracen puts odds out on this, which maybe they will, I would imagine Ryder Helfrich would be like maybe minus 125 or something like that. Cahillo, obviously a big candidate for that. I'm going to go with the sleeper, though. I think TJ Pompey is a guy, and he only hit, I think, 1 home run in fall practice. Like, he didn't show off as much power as is in the tank, but in terms of just pure how far can you hit a baseball, TJ Pompey is way up there, and I think he's I hope we can keep this thing quiet because I think he's about to explode and be like a second-round pick, and I don't think everyone really understands that's about to happen.
Yeah. And finally, before we get out of here, Jacob says, will the radio show be available in Jonesboro? To be honest, I don't know if the 102.1 The One reaches that far. It does reach a good ways, but I have not been over there in the Jonesboro area. Maybe some of you could check it out at 102.1 The One next Monday, because this one will be live. But I'm not sure, so I don't want to sit here and say for sure it is or for sure it's not. But either way, you'll be able to get a lot of the coverage over there in North Central Arkansas. So
yes, and let's just do this one more time. It is not replacing Inside Arkansas Live. This show will still go on every day as normal. This is a unique, different piece of content that will go out on that station in their airwaves on Mondays at noon.
Yes.
You're simply getting more of us if you are in that area.
That's right. That's right. Nothing is changing. Nothing is changing at all.
I know it can be a little bit like, wait a second, Monday at noon. What do you mean? Yeah.
Right. All right. There's rhyme and reason. There's rhyme and reason to that reason, folks. There's rhyme and reason to it. So, sure. But either way, well, guys, any final thoughts before we roll out of here for the day?
I'm thoughted out, boys.
I don't think I have any final thoughts either, other than everybody stay warm. Stay warm, and I guess we'll see you before New Year's Eve, so we can give you your whole speech about staying safe on New Year's Eve. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. Always love the discussion. Woo pig. Let's have a great day.
That's right. Yeah. Going to continue on this week. It's going to kind of be the calm before the storm, relatively speaking, when it comes to SEC basketball starting up this Saturday. And of course, we know the transfer portal is going to be opening up and everything. It's going to be chaotic, but that's why we're going to have it all right here.
Wait. Pause. Scott Starzik. Shout out to Scott Starzik. He's a hog through and through. He bleeds. Rip his arm off. You can see Razorback red just pouring, oozing out of there. Shout out to Scott Starzik. We got our kicker back. Woo pig.
Completely forgot about that. But yes, we did get Scott Starzik back. 14 of 18 of last year, Scott Starzik is a true freshman. So yeah, special teams ain't all about Scott Fountain. It's about keeping Chad Lunsford getting it done there for Arkansas. Yeah. So yeah, big point there.
I'm sorry. I know you've been trying to get out of this show for like the last 10 minutes, but this is important.
Okay.
I think. Let me pull it up real quick. This is from Charlie Baker. We know Charlie Baker?
Yeah. The head of the NCAA, right?
Yes. Says, tweeted out, the NCAA has not and will not grant eligibility to any prospective or returning student athletes who have signed an NBA contract, including a two-way contract. As schools are increasingly recruiting individuals with international league experience, the NCAA is exercising discretion in applying the actual and necessary expenses bylaw to ensure that prospective student athletes with experience in American basketball leagues are not at a disadvantage compared to their international counterparts. Rules have long permitted schools to enroll and play individuals with no prior collegiate experience mid-year. While the NCAA has prevailed on the vast majority of eligibility-related lawsuits, recent outlier decisions in joining the NCAA on a nationwide basis from enforcing rules that have been on the books for decades Without even having a trial or wildly destabilizing, I will be working with D1 leaders in the weeks ahead to protect college basketball from these misguided attempts to destroy this American institution.
Thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
saying something. And for, listen, we've said, you got to draw the line somewhere. I feel like the National Basketball Association, I feel like that's a good place to draw the line. I'm glad he said something, honestly, because now we can stop this little misinformation pool of hypothetical whataboutism and make-believe stuff. And we can get back to having real conversations about real things. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm happy that he did that too. And it's just like, I'm glad you could get off your couch to do so. And here's the thing. You know what, Calipari? You say no one listens to you. That's a lie. You got listened to today by Charlie Baker. So there's at least that. There's at least that.
It's a great American institution, college basketball.
That's right. That's right. Don't destroy it. Protect it. Embrace it. It's going to make you proud one day. I promise you. But either way, yeah, that does it for us today. Appreciate it, folks. Everybody tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas. Check us out on social media at Inside Arkansas. Follow our audio podcast wherever podcasts are found, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pod at the Palace, the Bombastic Podcast, Inside Arkansas Recruiting Podcast, and beyond. And we're going to keep it going from there. So for Andrew Ellis, Curtis Wilkerson, and intern Cameron, John Neighbors, same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.